On lap number 2, John Andretti gets loose. He taps Ricky Craven, and the dance is on. Everybody is looking for a place to hide as they do nothing but stack them up like a parking lot on the front stretch. 19 cars altogether get involved in this melee. It was a mess, folks. That is not the biggest mishap ever. The 24-car crash at Daytona and the Pepsi a few years ago, but this one came close. Take a look at the mishap. Among those caught up, Morgan Shepherd, Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Bobby Hamilton, Bobby Helen, Chuck Bound, Lake Speed, Ricky Rudd, Elton Sawyer, Todd Bodine, Dave Marcus, and as you will see, a host of folks, Dale Jarrett right up there at the top of your screen, nailing hard into the outside wall. It was a mess, but fortunately, no serious injuries. Now, let's give you some bird's-eye views of this mishap and let you know exactly how it transpired. We will go on board now with the car of Terry Labonte. You see, looking up front now, Terry sees it start to break loose, but simply nowhere to go as they start slicing and dicing on the front stretch, and Terry wounds up with a crunched front end as well, along with Mark Martin and a host of others. Let's go on board with Mark Martin now for a little closer look at it. You see the spin up front, but Mark gets nailed from behind and gets hit a couple of more times. Some hard licking, but fortunately all the drivers keep on ticking. No serious injuries, although 9 of those cars did suffer substantial damage. All right, next on the hit parade, it will be Mr. Jeff Bodine. He gets the E-ticket ride sliding down the front stretch. Fortunately, he would be okay, and everyone else gets through. All right, let's move on now to turn 4, collecting Dave Marcus this time. The Olive Garden car takes a hard lick on the driver's door up against the outside wall, but fortunately everyone else clears through, particularly Jimmy Hensley just cleared that mishap. One more time on the hit parade, Jimmy Spencer in the Smokin' Joe's machine. He gets loose, tries to save it, but can't quite do so, and at this point all you can do is just hold on for the ride. Jimmy will take a hard lick against the inside wall. The car was damaged on the right side, but was able to get back in the race. Final lap, great finish. Kyle Petty in the lead, trying to hold off Bobby Labonte and Ted Musgrave. Petty in number 42, Coors Light Pontiac, would pull out in front and would be able to hold off the pack, but for second, it was a photo finish between Bobby Labonte and Ted Musgrave. The Pontiac gets their first victory for the first time since November of '93. Kyle Petty ends a 59-race drought. He has not won since '93 as well, so a big day indeed for Kyle Petty, the winner of the Miller Genuine Draft 500. All right, now, so let's move on and talk about that victory for Kyle Petty today. As we said, his first since June of '93. Bobby Labonte gives Joe Gibbs another strong run. Labonte won last week a second-place finish. He won that photo with Ted Musgrave, who finished third in the Family Channel Ford. All right, let's move on to the fourth-place spot, Hut Strickland. That car is owned by Kenny Bernstein. Now, Bernstein has that team up for sale, and today's fourth-place run by Strickland might maybe help the price a little bit. Dale Earnhardt, the Winston Cup points leader, rounds out the top 5 in 5th in the Goodwrench Chevy. All right, on to 6th place now. Jeff Gordon puts the DuPont Chevy home in 6th. Sterling Marlin had a Kodak moment in 7th. Michael Waldrop brings the Pennzoil Pontiac home in 8th. Rusty Wallace survives that early scuffle to finish 9th. With Joe Nemechek finally getting some good luck, the Burger King Chevy finishes in 10th. The Winston Cup point standings right now are shake up a little bit. Dale Earnhardt remains on top with 1,809 points. Sterling Marlin is exactly 100 points back. Jeff Gordon is in 3rd. He is 106 points back. Mark Martin drops to 4th in the points, 182 points off the pace, with Ted Musgrave rounding out the top 5. Now, next week, the NASCAR circuit heads to Pocono for the UAW GM Teamwork 500. All right, now, after being shut out in Indy last week, Team Penske was trying to redeem itself in the Miller 200 today in Milwaukee. Teo Fabi had the pole, but Penske teammates Al Unser Jr. and Emerson Fittipaldi would start 2nd and 3rd. But it would be Paul Tracy who would be the man who would move out in front and would take the victory. Paul Tracy wins the Miller 200. Al Unser Jr. would finish 2nd in that, about 4 car lengths back. Michael Andretti, 1 lap behind, finished 3rd. The NHRA circuit was heating up the quarter mile this weekend at the inaugural Virginia Nationals up in Richmond. It's always nice to be the first-time winner on a brand-new event. And in the Pro Stock bike finale, check it out, the lowriders, David Schultz against Steve Johnson. It would be a photo finish, but at the line, it would be Schultz with a run of 7.59 seconds, 180 miles per hour. In the Pro Stock division, Warren Johnson going against Jim Yates in the McDonald's machine in the right lane. It would be Johnson in the Mopar Parts machine. A run of 7.06 seconds, 196 miles per hour as Warren Johnson takes the Pro Stock title. In the funny car, who else but John Force? Always a force to deal with. No problem with Casey Spurlock in this one. Force smokes him with a run of 5.19 seconds, 278 miles per hour. Force, of course, a firm hold on the funny car points lead. In the top fuels, Corey McClinathan, the points leader, going up against Blaine Johnson, and it would be McClinathan winning it, 4.96 seconds, 293 miles per hour. McClinathan right now with a 2-point lead over Larry Dixon in the top fuel point standing. All right, in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, Chicago and Detroit hit the ice for Game 2 of their